Hey YouTube, I'm Sergeant Indy. Welcome back to my turn-based strategy tutorial for GameMaker Studio. This video we're going to be coding some basic spells for our cleric and wizard. First, let's start by doing some organization. Our game has grown to the point where it's getting cluttered. We need to make it easier to find what we're looking for, and also we don't want all this stuff every time we expand these things. So we're going to make some new subfolders. Go ahead and right-click on Sprites and create group. We'll call the first one Buttons and UI. And we're going to go ahead and drag all of our buttons and our UI elements in there. The first one's always kind of tricky to get into the folder because it doesn't want to go. But after that, you can get the rest of them in there easy. Create another group. Call it Effects. Put all of our effects in here. That includes our arrow and our biff and our selected thingy. Our cursor is part of our UI. New group, we'll call this one Actors, although let's keep it, apparently I'm not doing these in uppercase, so let's make it uniform. Put our target in there and our hero sprite. And then the last one we're going to call Nodes and Terrain. Okay. Just like that. Now we can close all these up. And that, if we go in here to fiddle with the sprites, it doesn't take up like half the darn page anymore. Go into our scripts, we're going to do the same thing. Create group. First one we're going to call Actions and Spells. We're going to put Perform Action in there. And that's it for now. There will be more later. There'll be more by the... Whoa, not export all scripts. That's not what I wanted at all. We want to create group Actions and Spells buttons. So we're going to put wipe buttons, create buttons, and perform buttons in there. And make sure, again, it's always kind of tricky to get the first one in there. But once you got the group open, you can just sort of slide them on in. Create another group, pathing and range finding. That's melee attack range, movement range, ranged attack range, create path, wipe nodes and color move node. Like we could make a nodes folder, but sometimes you end up with a couple of stragglers, and that's fine, because if it all collapses, you can still see what you're doing. Fonts we'll leave like that, but we're not messing with fonts today, so go ahead and collapse that folder. Go into our objects, create a group, actors. All of our actors go in here. That's, come on, get in there. There we go. That's Rizzo, Danny, Sonny, Sandy, our target. Eventually, once your game really grows, you might want a separate folder for the good guys and the bad guys to help keep things separated. Create group. We're going to go Effects and UI. And that's going to be our biff, our arrow. Hey, get in there. Come on, guys, get in there. Our damage text, our selector. We're going to go ahead and put our button in there too. So our button and our confirm button. And we'll put our ranged attack in there as well. The last one, we're going to create a group. We'll call this Nodes and Terrain. Put our wall, rubble, our terrain parent object. Now, our game, actor, cursor, and node, we're not going to put in a group because we mess with these things nonstop. This is where most of our game happens, is in one of these. So we're just going to leave those out because they're easy to use. All right. Now let's get to work. We need a couple of small fixes before we get started, and we also need to make a new sprite. Let's make the new sprite first. Let's go in here. Oh, look at that. How convenient. Go into your sprites and then effects and then your biff. Right-click that and duplicate. We're going to call this S-Flame because we're going to make a flame sprite. Edit the sprite, and all we want, and I think maybe we could do this transform. No, images. Go left, cycle right. Is that what I want? Well, that's kind of what I wanted, but not really. Yeah, okay. Well, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to end up with the biggest image first, and then down to the smallest one. So keep keep messing with them until that's what you get. You can just use these arrows here, and you take the first image, you put it at the back, then the second image becomes the first, and you just sort of cycle them back until you got it. So go ahead and pause now since I messed that up. Didn't do it in a way that's easy for you guys to follow, but you want the image 1 to be the big one, 2 smaller, 3 smaller, last one only a single pixel. So it's the exact opposite of a BIF. BIF starts small, grows big. Our flame is going to start big and go small. When you got all that, green check out of here and out of there. It's like I said, go ahead and pause if you need to catch up because I wasn't completely clear about that. And then now we're going to go into our actor create event. And down here, my poor mouse wheel is dying and I just don't have the money to replace my mouse right now. Real pain in my butt. We're going down to the special action variables here, and below that, we're going to add the, oh wait, we already have a category for that, spell and action variables here. But we want some before the readied action variable. We're going to do spell hit bonus equals 0, spell save DC equals 0. What a spell save spell hit bonus, that's obvious. If we're casting a spell that we need to make an attack roll with, we'll use that instead of our normal, like, whacking people attack roll. The spell save DC, some spells are considered to, like, automatically hit, and then it's up to the target to resist it, rather than for the caster to hit with it. For that, we'll use the save DC, and that's essentially a target number that they have to beat on their roll. We're going to add some first level slots. We're going to be using a Vancian magic system where people have, you know, you can cast 3 first level spells, 2 second level spells, something like that. For now, we're just going to set up the first level portion of that. So first level slot max, so the maximum first level slots they can have, 0. First level slot, the current number of slots remaining, also 0. And now we've got our ready to action air, and below that we want targeting type to equal error. And we want our action range to be 0. Alright, all that just like that. Green check out of here. Before we leave the actor, because we need to go into Sunny and Rizzo and update them since they're our spellcasters. But before we leave here, let's go into our step event. And all the way down at the bottom, where we do the begin action. We left this blank last video. We're going to fill it in now. What we're going to do here is we're going to perform our action targeting, and any spell that would be targeted will be purple, right? Or any node that would be targeted will show up purple. And what this is going to do is every round it's going to wipe the nodes and then redo its action targeting so that we can sort of update on the fly based on where the mouse is. This isn't important for all of our spells, but it's really important for one of them, and you'll understand in a bit. So wipe nodes. And then we're going to do action targeting. This is a script we're going to write this video. It's going to have 3 arguments passed to it. The first is the actor casting the spell. So in this case, it will pass this actor's own ID. And then we need a targeting type and then an action range. So targeting type and action range. So targeting type, we're going to pass a string like cone or all allies or all enemies, and that will let this action targeting thing know which nodes to paint purple to show that they're ready to be targeted. Action range will just be some spells will have a certain range, and we'll do that. Some spells won't, but we're making this a pretty versatile targeting script, so it needs to be able to handle all these variables so it can work. So this is showing an error, but that's only because we haven't written this yet. We'll write it in just a minute. Green check at it here and here. Now we need to go into Sunny and Rizzo, and we need to add or update all that information that we just made baseline in the actor. We need to overwrite it. So let's go right below our damage variables, and we'll do spell and action variables, spell hit bonus equals, and then we're going to use our proficiency modifier and our intelligence modifier for Sunny. Spell save DC, that'll be equal to 8 plus the proficiency mod and the intelligence mod. So, and like I said, the bad guys, like if we hit them with the first spell we're going to program is a burning hand, so it's going to make a cone of flames. It's going to affect all the nodes in that cone, and if there's anybody standing in that node, they're affected by it. And in order to be less affected by it, to take half damage, they need to beat this number on a dexterity roll. So that's what that's for. First level slot max is going to be equal to 2. And then first level slot is also going to be equal to 2. And then they need a first level spell list equals ds list create. And then in order to fill that spell list, we're going to have another function or another script that we're about to write. Fill spell list. And in order to 3 arguments for that, we need to pass the actor whose spell list to fill. So pass our own ID. And then the level of that caster. And then that caster's class. So this will be a generic script that will fill both our wizard and our cleric spell lists, and it'll be able to do it based on all that. Again, this is showing red only because we haven't written this yet. We're going to copy all of this stuff, Control-C, green check out of here, and we're going to go into Rizzo now, and we're just going to paste it right in there. So right below the damage variables, Control-V. Now, Rizzo is a cleric. So instead of casting with her intelligence, she casts with her wisdom. So both of these are going to be based off of the wisdom modifier rather than the intelligence modifier. Other than that, this is ready to go. Green check out of here and there. All right, now obviously we've got a couple of new scripts to write. We're going to start with the fill spell list script, and it's going to fill the spell list of the actor so that they're ready to go. Last video we had the button list in where we create our buttons, where we make a button list. We're only adding the one thing to it. Why is that? This is why. That button list in create buttons is going to be filled with our actor's spell list and then the default buttons. So that's why that's set up like that, so that this can work this video. So let's go ahead and create a new spell list, and we're going to put it in the actions and spells categories. Go ahead and right click that folder, create script. It'll pop it right in there for you. And we're going to go fill spell list. Remember, there's 3 arguments. So argument 0 is the actor whose list to fill. Argument 1 is the level of the character whose list to fill. And I should have said actor. That'd be more uniform, wouldn't it? Argument 2 is the class of the actor whose list to fill. I'm going to go ahead and update this now. Uniformity and naming conventions are pretty important. It's really easy to get your headspace all spun up and mistype something because you're not thinking straight. So if you can stay consistent, stay on target, it cuts down on that. So actor equals argument 0, level equals argument 1, not argument, which is a, no it's not, it's a type of lettuce. No it's not, it's a very bad joke. Argument 2, and then, so what we're going to do here is we're going to step through our level, and then at each level we'll test the class, and then we'll fill the spell list with the levels. We'll type it out. For II equals 1, II less than or equal to level, II plus equals 1. Doesn't have to be written up like this. I'm just doing this to demonstrate. All of our for statements so far have been super generic, starting at 0 and then whatever. You can put whatever you want in these things. You can be as silly as you want, and we're gonna get pretty funky with them in this video. So switch class, and we're gonna do case wizard. Do the wizard spell. Actually, you know what? What am I doing? Cleric. Let's keep things alphabetical, because eventually, like if you made this into a full-featured, full-function, full-length game, eventually you would have so many abilities in this spell list that you wouldn't be able to keep any of it straight. So anything you can do to keep that straight, long run, will help you. So in this case, we're putting the case statements in alphabetical order. So let's do the cleric first. And then in here, we're going to go switch II for the level. So this is going to go level 1, level 2, level 3, and we're going to fill it, each one, here. So case 1, and we're only going to have the 1 level for now. But later on, we're going to have a level up video where I'm going to talk about how we would go through and do all of this stuff. DS list add, and all of these are going to be commented out for now. So actor.first level spell list, and then we're going to add bless. And actually, we shouldn't comment this out just yet because you might make a mistake with how your quotations are or whatever. And we can go ahead and copy this and paste it 3 times, because all that's going to change on each of these lines is healing word, the name of the spell itself. Guiding bolt. Now, we're not going to get to all of these spells this video, because some of these are a bit more complicated. We're going to do something about them next video. But we're going to do bless and healing word this video for sure. Actually, wait, no, we're not doing bless this video. Just healing word for her. So comment all of these out, because we're going to implement them one by one so that we can test them as we go. So, that's done. Now we're going to do case wizard down here, break, and it's going to be the same exact thing. So, this switch statement, go ahead and grab that, copy it, paste it, and then all that's going to change in here is the names of the spells, like I said earlier. So, first one is going to be Magic Missiles. The second spell we're going to cast is Acid Orb. And the last one is Burning Hands. Now go ahead and uncomment Burning Hands. This is the first spell that we're going to program today. And we're starting with this one because it's the most complicated. This one's a pain in the butt to code. So we're just going to knock it out and get it out of the way. We're going to give Sunny Burning Hands. We'll test it. Great. But before we do this, like I said, Burning Hands, it's going to target a cone. So like if Sunny's standing here, it'll point towards wherever the cursor is currently pointing at. So we don't want our current confirmation button to pop up when we're doing this, but we still need that window. So we're going to make a new object. Let's green check out of here. Let's go to our effects and UI. And our confirm button, we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to call it O confirm box. And all we're going to do in here is get rid of, it's not going to have a sprite, so clear that out. And then go into the draw event, and all the way down at the bottom of the draw self, get rid of that. This object will function the exact same way the confirm button does, except there's no actual button to click. And we're going to have directions on there to tell them to right click an appropriate square, and then it'll cast. And we're going to use this for 2 of the 3 spells we're casting here. We're going to use this for Burning Hands, we're going to use this for Healing Word, because Healing Word, they've got to target one of their own allies in order to cast the heal. So, green check out of here. And now we need to make our cursor able to handle this new confirmation box. A couple of really minor changes in here. First off, we're going to go find your keyboard check pressed VK escape. And we got this with confirm button, instance destroy. We're going to do with confirm box, instance destroy. Now that I'm thinking about this right now, I probably could have set one of these. There's probably a way to set up one of these to be the child of the other, and to make this all just work off of the one thing. And maybe I should have done that, but at this rate, I've got my notes written. I've got my stuff ready to go. We're just going to go with it. So with that done, we also need to make it able to handle working on an action node, which is another thing that we're going to set up today. We've got move nodes, we've got attack nodes, we're going to have action nodes. So this mouse check button MB right, we've got our move node block, and that ends here. And we've got our attack node block, and that ends down here. In fact, we should probably, up top you see where I'd said move node end. Attack block, attack node block end. This is something that, again, little thing to help you keep track of what all your code's doing. Because as the project gets bigger, it's going to get harder and harder to just look at your code and see what you're doing. Oh gosh. My darn cats, they get cat hair everywhere, and that includes on the lens of my optical mouse. So, right here at the bottom of the attack node end, between these two bottom squigglies, we're going to put a new piece of code. So, if hover node dot action node. So, if we're right-clicking on a node that's a valid target for one of our spells, then selected actor dot state equals perform action. So perform the action that we're loaded to do. And then with confirm box. Come on, there we go. Instance destroy. And then with confirm button. Instance destroy. So, like I said, all this is going to do is if we're, say we're casting Healing Word and we are, so let's just go all out with that example, actually. We're going to cast Healing Word. So, action targeting is going to be called, and it's going to paint all of our allies' nodes purple, and it's going to call them action nodes. So now we have to pick which one to heal. Let's say we'd mouse over where Danny's at, and we'd right-click, it'd be like, okay, well, that's an action node. Then we'd tell the actor to perform action, which of course, then they'll go ahead and do the perform action script. They'll call that, and all we got to do is mop up the confirm box and the confirm button. So that's all we need to do to make that work. And I hope I'm clear enough on that. We're bouncing back and forth between a lot of scripts today, and I know it's going to be a little hectic. Just bear with me. Also, this is going to be another long video. I think all the videos from here on out are going to be long videos. So we've just added a new type of variable to our node. We need to go and add that too. So green check out of here and there. Go into our node. And down at the bottom, move node false, attack node false. We need action node equals false. And obviously, since we've added this variable here, we also need to add it to our wipe nodes script. So green check out of here when you're done with that. And there. And where did I put it? Here we go, wipe nodes. So move node, attack node, action node equals false. Great. Now let's write that action targeting script now. This is going to be the most complicated segment of the action targeting script. And it's going to be kind of complicated for me to explain too. So let's go into our action and spells, right click that, create script, action targeting. And then here, three arguments being passed again. So argument 0 is the actor performing the action. Argument 1 is the targeting type. And argument 2 is the targeting range. I'm going to go ahead and get this one real big because we got some code to write here. In fact, let's give ourselves some blank space to work with so we can try to keep that centered or at the top of the screen as we go. So actor equals argument 0. Targeting type equals argument 1. Range equals argument 2. Now switch targeting type. So in here, the first thing we're going to set up, burning hands, it will have a targeting type of cone. And that means you will have we'll have an angle between where Sunny's the caster, where he's at and where the mouse cursor's at, and then all the nodes in a cone pointed in that direction will be lit up to a certain range, of course. So case cone. Like I said, this is the most complicated one, so I wanted to knock it out early while everyone's still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. All right, so origin x equals actor.x plus 16. Origin y equals actor.y plus 16. Dir, and you could use direction. See, the GameMaker its direction is sort of set up like, I don't know, it's intended to be used for sprite direction, movement direction, etc. So I don't like messing with it unless I'm actually moving in a direction or drawing a sprite at that angle. So I tend to default to dir. So dir equals point direction, and again, it's going to be from Sunny's center, which we've got set up with our origin X and origin Y. So origin X, origin Y. We want it to point towards where the cursor's at, but we don't want it just at the cursor. We want it to be blocked by node, essentially. But we're pointing at whatever node the cursor's hovering over. So oCursor dot hover node dot x plus 16, oCursor dot hover node dot y plus 16. Wrap that up. Now, we need an offset to our origin X. We don't want our origin X to just be right in the center of where Sunny's gut is at, because from here, we're going to do sort of like a poor man's ray casting. We're going to point out in a direction, and every couple of pixels in like this shotgun burst direction, we're going to check, is there a node here? And then we're going to paint it. Well, that's going to start essentially where the origin's at. We don't want Sunny's own node to be considered an action node, because that means Sunny would essentially light himself on fire. So we're going to give ourselves a bit of an offset here. So origin X plus equals length dir X, and we're going to go out 31 pixels in a direction of dir. We're going to do the same thing for the Y. Origin Y plus equals length dir Y 31 dir. Now, this length dir, there's something about it. Whenever I'm recording, I can't type this to save my life, but when I'm off camera, it just flows right out. I use this little function all the time. There's something about when the cameras are rolling, I can't spell the word length. It drives me nuts. So, we're going to do another funky for statement. I'm going to type this one out, and then I'm going to explain what we're doing here. For II equals negative 30, that's what I want. II less than 30, II plus equals 15. So, like I said, you can do whatever you want with this and this. Well, actually, you can do anything you want with anything in here. And it's traditionally 0 and then plus equals 1. That's traditionally what you do with a for statement. But in this case, like I said, we want to make a cone. And we want to check, like shoot out in a direction, like a few directions to make this cone. And then every few pixels along each of these directions, we want to check to see if there's a node there. So that's what this is. We've got our direction, and that would essentially be 0. And this II is going to act as an offset, 30 degrees below that direction, and 30 degrees above that direction, although above and below is probably not good terminology here. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. But we're going to check a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 0. So this is going to go negative 30, negative 15, 0, 15, 30, and then it's done. And all of those direction offsets will shoot out and we'll make our cone. And like I said, we're going to check every few pixels, so that's what this next one's for. For JJ equals 0, JJ less than or equal to dist. I forgot to do dist. Dist equals range, and we want to make up for the offset a bit. Originally, I had this at negative 32, but I like the way that negative 16 works. And when you're doing weird things like cone targeting, you'll have to fiddle with all this stuff till it looks right. And there's really no way to do it except for to run it over and over again until you go, that's the results I want. And that kind of sucks. But so JJ equals 0, JJ less than or equal to dist, JJ plus equals 8. So paper check, desk check this. We're going to start at, let's say our direction, right, is 90 degrees. It's straight down from Sunny. We're going to start at 60 degrees, going out like that, and then every 8 pixels, we're going to go node, node, node. We're going to update those. When that line is done, we're going to go to we're going to go to 75 degrees, and we do the same thing, and then 90, and then 105, and then 120 should be where we end. But that's what this is doing. So in here, what we need to do is if instance position No, that's not what we need to do. I'm getting ahead of myself. Temp x equals origin x plus length dir x jj, because that's our current pixel offset, how far we are down this individual angle, plus, and then in the direction of direction, plus ii. Whoa, lowercase ii. And then temp y, the same. Origin y plus length dir y jj dir plus ii. And there's honestly, there's ways to do this with math rather than using raycasting. But honestly, raycasting is just a heck of a lot easier to write and follow. It's also a heck of a lot easier for me to explain to you guys because I actually explain the math behind it. But you could do this with like, oh god, I can't remember the name of it. Matrices or whatever. This is just easier. So if no collision line, and we don't want this cone of flames to go through walls. So the first thing we need to check is there a wall between us and the origin? So origin x, origin y, temp x, temp y, oh wall, false, false. We don't need precise collision checking, and not me is obvious because we're not checking for ourselves. We're checking for walls. What's wrong here? Why are you so upset? Why is it so mad at me? 1, 2. That's correct. Expects a origin x, origin y, temp x, temp y. Oh, wall, false. Ah, I wanted another comma. Okay. So if instance position, so we're going to check for temp x, temp y. We're going to check at our temp x, temp y. Is there a node? So if there isn't a wall between us and the origin, and there is a node there, because otherwise, like if Sunny were all the way at the edge of the map and we pointed left, we'd get an error because they'd be trying to access a node. So we have to check if there's a node there. Node equals instance position, temp x, temp y, oh node. And then so if node.type, remember we gave the nodes a type a long time ago, doesn't equal wall, because we don't want to affect the walls with our burning hands either. Node.action node equals true, and node.color equals C_purple. Purple, not purple. Okay, all the way down, break, all set just like that. Now, again, this script's eventually going to handle all sorts of targeting methods for us. We just give it a targeting type and a range, and then we fill out the case for whatever it needs to be. This is the most complicated one we're writing today. The rest of them are going to be super simple. But let's green check out of here. I want my squigglies to be nice and neat first. All right, green check out of here. And we're going to go into perform action. So now that we've got a targeting type for burning hands, we need to set up the actual action for burning hands. So perform action under the actions and spells header. Now we're going to do something special here, right? So we got our case and turn. We're going to do default actions. And for big categories, I like to use my big long squigglies there. So default actions will go here. We're going to do cleric spells and a big line here. We're not going to have any of these yet. We will by the end of the video. And then wizard spells. And again, if you guys were going to make a full-length game out of this, these actions, you'd have like 40 different action types. So setting up little categories like this will really help you once the project gets big. So case burning hands colon break targets equals ds list create. So we're going to create a target list, and let's see, damage equals 0. So the amount of damage burning hands does is we're going to simulate 3 6-sided dice worth of damage. We're going to do that the easy way with a for statement. For ii equals 0, ii less than 3, ii plus equals 1, damage plus equals I random, range 1, 6. And so it'll roll once, 1 is 6, twice, plus 1 is 6, 3 times, 3d6. That's D&D lingo for 3 6-sided dice. So, we've got our damage. We need to fill our target list with onode if action node. So if they've been painted as action nodes, so if they're in the cone, ds list add other dot targets id. For II equals 0, II less than ds list size targets II plus equals 1. Node equals ds list find value targets II. So we're stepping through our targets list, and at each one of them with instance create, at each one of them we're going to create a flame emitter. Let's see, node.x plus 16, node.y plus 16, flame emitter. And our flame emitter is going to kind of work just like our ranged attack thing does, where it's going to do something, and then when it's done doing something, it's going to be what applies damage to whoever's standing in that node. So it needs a few variables passed its way. Target equals other.node.occupant, and we'll have a provision if there's no occupant, don't worry. Save DC equals other.actor.spell save DC, and damage equals other.damage. Great. Now we've made ourselves a data structure, so we've got to clean it up. So ds list destroy, destroy targets. Let's scroll down a bit to get ourselves back to the center here. Actor.first level slot minus equals 1. So like I said, they've only got 2 first level slots, so they can only cast 2 first level spells. They've just cast one of them. They've just acted, so actor.can_act equals false. Actor.actions minus equals 1. Oops, I went too far. I don't want to go. Actor.state equals end action, so they can resolve their action. Actor.action timer, about 30 is enough time for all of this to resolve and for them to move on. Great. So let's see if I can move this back up and get all of this stuff on one screen. And if you guys are falling behind, go ahead and pause it. There we go. Green check out of here. We've got to go to our create buttons. We've got to create a button for our burning hands. So we're going to do the same thing we did before, and it's already kind of set up from an earlier take I did. Default actions and turn. We're going to have our cleric spells. And another great big long line, because I love those. They help me. I love those for categories. Wizard spells. Same great big long line. Okay. So in here, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we need to add our spell list to our button list. So let's do that first. So if actor.can_act. So if the actor's already acted, we don't want to show the spells. That's not anything the player can perform anymore. In that case, we just want the end turn button. But if they can act, we'll display the spells they've got. If actor.first level slot is greater than 0, for II equals 0, II less than ds list size, actor.first level spell list, II plus equals 1, ds list add, button list, ds list find value, actor.first level spell list, II. So that'll step through and it'll add all of our first level spells, which for our first run will just be burning hands, but it'll add them all to the button list so that they can make the buttons. So now we'll come down here, and I want to actually go up here for just a second. Pause if you fell behind. Wizard spells. And in here, we're going to get started on this. So case burning hands, colon, break at the bottom. So, pretty much the same as this. In fact, let's go ahead and just copy this. Control C. In here, Control V. We can, well, that's too many breaks. We can get rid of our sprite index part because we don't have a button drawn up for burning hands yet. Our title is going to be burning hands. And our text, we're going to do something fancy in here. This is going to be right click a square in range to emit a cone of flames. Exclamation point. Flames should be capitalized there. What am I doing? I randomly capitalize. I've got random capitalization disorder. Hashtag or pound sign 3d6 fire damage. And then parentheses AOE. It's an area of effect, so it'll affect everything, all of the cones, everything within the cone. What this pound sign does is it lets GameMaker know to start a new line. So that's really neat. And since everything's centered on our big black box at the bottom, it'll be the right click to square range to emit a cone of flames. That'll be centered. And then below that, the 3d6 fire damage. That'll be centered too. Really cool. We don't want our hotkey to be X, obviously. We're going to do string other.ii plus 1. So the hotkey for burning hands will be whichever button number it is on the list plus 1. So it'll be 1, 2. I think we'll end up with 3 buttons for each of them by the time, well, over the next couple videos. So great, we've created our button. But no, we haven't. There's something more we need to add here. We need to add spell equals true. And we want to add spell slot equals string other.actor.first level slot. So what we're going to do with this is if we're going to add these two variables obviously to our button, and if it's a spell, it will draw how many slots are remaining at the bottom right corner. So they can see the hotkey in the top right corner of the button, and in the bottom right they can go, oh, I've only got 2 more first level spells left. Maybe I should be careful how I use these. It's important if you give the players a resource that they are able to see that resource so that they can manage it. So let's go into our button. We'll add these couple of slots and how to handle them right now. Green check out of here. We're going to go into our button create event. That's the smiley face right down here. Right underneath hotkey, we're going to go spell equals false. That's the default. And spell slot equals, we want this to be ready to hold a string, so I'm going to put 0 in parentheses. You can just make that air or whatever. Green check out of here. Now in our draw event, right after we write the hotkey in the same font, we're going to do if spell. And we're going to draw the spell slot in the bottom right corner. This is going to look a little weird, but what we're going to do is we're going to write the number with parentheses around it. So it looks different than just the hotkey on its own. So it's going to be a bit off center. Like we're not going to do it at x plus 22. So draw text, and then x plus 12, y plus 18. And then we want open quote, open parentheses, close quote, plus string spell slot, plus open quote, close parentheses, close quote, close parentheses, just like that. So it'll print parentheses, the spell slot number, and parentheses. Green check out of here, so they're ready to go. Now we need to finally make it so that we can perform these buttons. So, perform buttons. Same thing we did before. So, at the end of this, I've already got my default actions typed out from before. Sorry about that. Like I said, I had a very bad take earlier, so I had to kind of work backwards and delete a bunch of stuff so I could redo this. We're going to do cleric spells, big long line, wizard spells, great big long line, and let's do right here, case burning hands. Remember, this is expecting a button title, and the button titles are in all capitals, so all of these need to be all caps in here. So case burning hands. Actor.state equals begin action. actor.readyAction equals burning hands. Actor.targeting type equals cone. Actor.action range equals 96. And with not wath, with instance create. We're going to create one of those new confirm boxes. Same place that the confirm button goes. Room width divided by 2. Room height. confirm box. Title equals other.button.title. Text equals other.button.text. Hotkey equals other.button.hotkey. Although I don't think they actually need this passed because they can't be performed by a hotkey. You actually need to right click on a relevant square. That's why we made those. Wipe nodes. Wipe buttons. So we might as well get rid of this. You could leave this here as that this box actually has no way to access its hotkey, but we might as well get rid of it because, like I said, it doesn't actually do anything. Okay, now it's time to actually build our spell effect. So I'm going to leave this up. If you're falling behind, go ahead and pause it. We can check out of here. We're going to create our spell effect. You could use the particle system built into GameMaker, but like I said, I think that's a little advanced. If you're dealing with that, you need to be very careful not to, it can cause massive memory leaks. So generally, I prefer to just sort of make my own spell effects out of objects. It's pretty easy to do, and we're going to make one right now. Let's go into our effects in UI, and let's create object. We're going to call this O Flame Emitter. Add a create event, drag in a block of code. Target equals no one. Save DC equals 0. Damage equals 0. Emitting equals true, and alarm 0 equals 10. What this is going to do is it has an emitting, and every round that it is, or every round, every step that it's emitting, it's going to emit a bunch of our flame particles off from itself. And then when this alarm 10 is done, it's going to stop emitting, and then it's going to wait for a little bit. So we're, this alarm, its alarm event is going to set another alarm just so that these particles have a chance to die down, because we don't want our damage text to pop up while these particles are up. It'd be hard to see. So once that second alarm is done, it's going to check if it's got a target, make its saving throw for it, and then apply the damage. Real easy. I'll show you how to set this up right now. So we're going to do our alarm 0 next. Alarm 0. Drag in another code block, and like I said, this one's going to set the emitting to false, and it's going to set a new alarm. Alarm 1 equals 10. Green check out of here. Now we'll do the alarm 1. Not alarm 0. I've already got one of those. Misclick. Oops. It wouldn't be a tutorial video if I didn't screw a couple of things up, right? So, alarm 1, what we're going to do now is we're going to check to see if we've got a target, and if we do, we're going to do the damage stuff. So if target doesn't equal no one, roll equals irandom range 1 to 20, and this is going to be the enemy's saving throw. What a saving throw is it's a roll of a 20-sided die with an appropriate attribute, and then we compare that to the save DC. So if roll plus target dot dex mod, because you use your dexterity to try to dive out of the way of our burning hands, is greater than save DC. So if they made their saving throw, then the damage equals seal damage divided by 2. What seal is a round up, so it takes half damage, round up. With instance create, we've got some damage text to create, right? So x plus 10, y minus 12. If you guys remember when we were creating damage text before, if those x, y's look off, remember that these things are in the center of the node, and that's why these are a little squirrely. Oh, damage text And we want 2 parentheses on that. So we need to give it a ground equals y. And text equals minus plus string other dot damage. And then when we're done with this, we're going to subtract their hit points. So target dot hit points minus equals damage. Target dot shake, we're going to set them to shake because they've been hurt, equals 4. And target dot shake mag equals 4. When all this is done, this instance will destroy itself. Instance destroy. Great. Now we need a step event. We've got this emitting variable. We need it to actually emit. So green check out of here, add event, a step, drag in a new code block. This is going to be real simple. If emitting for ii equals 0, ii less than 5, ii plus equals 1. So we're going to create 5 flame particles every step that we're emitting. Instance create, and we're going to do this with like a random offset. Give them a bit of randomness so that they don't look so uniform, and so it'll fill up the whole square too. So x plus I random range, we'll do -10 to 10. Y plus I random range, -10 to 10. O flame, and that'll be our little fake particle. We're going to build that right next. So green check out of here and there. Create a new object in our effects and UI. And we're going to give it the flame sprite. Add event. Create. It's going to work pretty similar to our Biff effect. So we're going to give it a direction. Equals, we want it to move generally up. So 90 plus I random range. And I just realized that earlier when I was talking about the cone direction in the thing, talking about going down, down's not 90, it's 270. I'm sorry about that. Speed equals choose 2, 3. Image speed. Speed equals 0.5. Color equals C underscore yellow. Angle equals I random 360. Spin equals choose -1, 1. Like I said, pretty much just like we set up the Biff. Scale equals choose 2, 3. So it'll spin at a random direction, left or right, from an angle. We're starting at yellow, but it'll change color. That's what makes it majorly different from Biff. So green check out of here. We're going to create a step event. Drag in a new block of code. Color equals choose C underscore red, C underscore orange, C underscore yellow. Angle plus equals 4 times spin. Green check. Same thing, we're going to have an animation end and that'll destroy it. Instance destroy. Green check out of here. And now we need a draw event to draw it with all the fancy information that we gave it. So draw, drag in a block of code. Draw, sprite extended. Sprite index, -1. X, Y, scale, scale, angle, color, 1. So, the sprite we're drawing ourselves, animating it, our own X and Y, our image X scale and Y scale are set to scale, rotation is angle, color is color, and alpha is 1. If you wanted to make this thing fade out over time, that'd look pretty cool too, and all you have to do with that is just give it an alpha variable and have it sort of decrement during the step event. That'd look pretty cool. Green check out of here. Now, we should be able to see our first spell in action, assuming I didn't screw anything up. So let's run our game now. Do. Here it comes. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move Sandy down here by this target. And we'll move Danny down here too. Let's hope that Sunny comes up soon. We're going to move Sunny here. And we're going to do Burning Hands. Although our angle doesn't appear right. What went wrong? Let's right click. And we have an error. What did I mess up? Ah! Oh my gosh. It would help, oh flame, if we named the stupid thing. Green check out of here. But I know something went wrong in our action targeting because our cone doesn't look right. This should be less than or equal to 30 because we want. That's what's happening is why that, like, the one side of that code looked a little weird and skinny compared to the other, because we weren't going all the way to the last angle. So go into action targeting, make that less than or equal to. Sorry about that. Green check out of here. And make sure you name your flame object, oh flame. Sorry about that too. Let's run it again. And we will do 2 more spells this video. Or, well, no, I think we'll maybe just 1 more spell. I don't have to check my notes. Let's get Danny down here, because I do want a couple of people down here. Great. That's enough. Hit 1. Burning Hands. Okay, it'll affect everything in there. Boom. All right, it did damage to both of them. We do have another error, though. We can check out of here. We want our flame to be at, like, -2, so it's above our actors. But other than that, it's working fine. It's affecting everything in the cone, and that's great. To include our own allies. That's how it's supposed to work. You got to be careful where you place these things. So let's get started on our second spell. And we're going to do this one for Sandy, so that after Sunny goes down and torches poor Danny, Rizzo can heal her. It's Rizzo, not Sandy. So go to our fill spell list, and we're going to do Healing Word next. So go ahead and delete the comment slashes before that. Green check. Go into our Create Buttons, and in our Cleric spell list, we're going to do Case, Healing Word, break, and then pretty much the same thing. We can grab all of this stuff because it's more or less the same, except in here, instead of Burning Hands, we're going to do Healing Word, and the text is obviously going to be different. It's going to be right-click an ally in range to heal them. Get ourselves a £, and then we're going to do 1d8. Oh, that's right. We need something special here. Plus string other.actor.wizmod. Yeah, wizmod. That'll work. Plus healing. And actually, I'm not comfortable with that after all. I don't know why. No, you know what? That's going to work after all. What am I thinking? That's crazy. So yeah, text. We're going to pass the wisdom mod because it's modified by their casting stat, the wisdom modifier. It is a spell. Got the appropriate hotkey. It's got a spell slot. This is all set up, ready to go. Green check out of here. Now we go into Perform Buttons in our Cleric spell list. My poor scroll wheel. Case, Healing Word. I really need to buy a new mouse. We had a family emergency, so we're like low on cash right now. Actor.state equals begin action. We'll probably pick up a new mouse. Oh, next. And I'm checking this. This is mostly the same. You know what? I'm just going to type it out. I have a funny feeling if I keep copy-pasting stuff, I'm going to make a mistake because of it. So, actor state equals begin action. Actor.readied action equals healing word. Actor.targeting type equals visible allies. So, what this is going to do when we get into program this is it's going to take all allies that Rizzo can see, and it's going to color all of their nodes as action nodes. Actor.action range equals 640 with instance create room width divided by 2, room height, O confirm box, because again, we don't want to confirm button with this one because you have to right click an ally for it to work. Title equals other dot button dot title. Text equals other dot button dot text. Hotkey. Oh, they don't need hotkeys. Get rid of that. It doesn't need a hotkey because it's a confirm box, not a confirm button. And then we need to wipe the nodes and wipe the buttons. There we go. Cool. Leave that up for a second if you're falling behind. Green check out of here. Go into action targeting. And this one's going to be super easy. We're going to put this, it's visible allies. It's going to be down here. Remember, try to keep them in alphabetical order. That'll help you in the long run. Case, visible allies, colon, break, rage, with, O actor, if army equals other.actor.army. So if they're on the same side as whoever's casting the spell, now what we want to do is we want to check if they're visible. So make sure there's no wall between us and them. If no collision line x, y, other.actor.x, other.actor.y, O wall, false, false, because we don't care about precise collision checking, and we're not checking for ourselves. It's not relevant. Node equals the node that this actor is standing on. So map grid x, grid y, node dot action node equals true, node dot color equals C_purple. Great. That's all we need. That's all you need for visible allies. We're going to have another one later for visible enemies, and it's going to be pretty much the exact opposite of this, but it's just that small and easy. Like I said, this one, the cone, that's the ugly one. I'll leave this up for a second if you're falling behind. Green check out of here. Now we go into perform action. And in our cleric spells slot, we're going to do case, healing word, break. So for this one, we're going to right click on one of our own allies to heal them. So we need a target. So target, when we right click, it'll be the O cursor dot hover node dot occupant. Heal equals irandom range 1 to 8 plus actor.wizmod. If any of you play D&D and are wondering why I upgraded the amount of heal that healing word does, it's because I'm not going to have a cure wounds. I think that cure wounds is a little outdated for a video game, and so a ranged heal that's good. I essentially gave healing word cure wounds is heal amount, and that's why I did it, because I think it doesn't really work in a video game format. Target.hit points plus, oh wait, no. So heal equals this random thing. We don't want you to have more hit points than your maximum hit points, though. We don't want you to be able to over-heal them. So heal equals min heal and target.max hit points minus target.hit points. So all this will do is choose the smaller value between what it rolled and what the maximum amount that target can be healed is. And then target.hit points plus equals heal. And now we're going to make some damage text. So with instance create x or target.x plus 28, target.y plus 4, O damage text, ground equals y, text. You're wondering why we always do that minus every time? It's so that times like this, we can do a plus instead. String other.heal. And then color equals C_lime. I think lime's a pretty good green. It stands out good. And green's like the it's like international game design code for healing. Actor.first level slot minus equals 1. Actor.canact equals false. Actor.actions minus equals 1. Actor.state equals end turn. Actor.action timer equals 15. Because Burning Hands, we need a long wait because it's got all this crazy spell effect to do. All we need for Healing Word is just a short wait because just a number's popping up. That's all we need from that. So, leave it up for a second. Green check out of here. Now we need to go into our damage text. It's not actually set up to accept a color yet. So we're going to go into our create event. And just down at the bottom, we're going to do color equals C_red. Because that'll be the default. And the only time we've changed it from that default is to heal. So red's what we want there. Green check out of here and there. All right, we should be able to run this real quick and see how it works. We'll try to see if we can't get someone down there to get hit by the Burning Hands and then heal them. All right, good. We'll get Sandy down here. Oh, Rizzo went next. Well, yeah, let's just skip Rizzo. That's fine. Get him down here to blast them both with the Burning Hands. Danny's turn. Go around again. All right, now Rizzo should be able to heal Sandy. Although it looked like it popped up red. I wonder what went wrong there. Let's double check this. Damage text. Color equals C_red. Was at the... Where were we? We were in the perform action. Healing Word. Color equals C_lime. Huh. You know what? This is where the problem is. Draw. Draw set font. Draw text color. We've got all this C_red. We need to change this too. So, color, 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 color. And that's sort of silly, but that's what you got to do because draws text color accepts 4 of them. I'm pretty sure it does some color blending, but I just want a solid color. So there. That's all we needed to do. That'll fix that. Now, we could do, well, you know what? We're already over time. We might as well do the third spell anyway. Screw it, right? Let's do it. So let's go into fill spell list, and we're going to add magic missiles for our wizard. So go ahead and get rid of those. That's easy. Green check. Go into create buttons, and in our wizard slot, let's just copy and paste Burning Hands. We'll just copy and paste it and update it. If we're going over time and we're doing one more than we need to, we might as well do quick, right? Burning Hands. Instead of that, it's going to be magic missiles, plural. Magic missiles. And I changed magic missiles because how magic missile normally works is you get 3 missiles and you can target them however you want. That's super duper complicated, and I wanted to keep this to be a super duper complicated to program, and I wanted to keep this pretty basic to code for everybody. So instead, I've changed it where it'll affect every single enemy that Sunny can see. So I figure that's a good compromise. So magic missiles. It's a good mass damage spell, but it's not a very good single target damage spell. They don't do a lot of damage. So the text, we're going to do fire a magic missile at each visible enemy. #, 1d4 plus 1. Force damage. AoE, because it's an area of effect. It'll affect every... Actually, let's not put the AoE there. It just affects people individually. It's not really an area. We're going to do another #. Cannot miss. That's another bonus of magic missiles, is it can't miss. Not a lot of damage, but it'll plink them all real good. Leave this up for a second. If you're falling behind, pause it. Green check out of here. Perform buttons. Where we've got our Burning Hands, we're just going to copy and paste this again. Control-C. Oh, wait, we went all the way down to the break. Control-C. Control-V. And this is going to be magic missiles, all caps. Begin action. The readied action will be magic missiles. The targeting type will be visible enemies. The action range will be 640. Remove from height confirm box, that's fine too, except this one, actually, we don't want the confirm box. We want a confirm button, because this one we can just fire off with a hotkey, since you don't have to select anybody specifically. Other.button.hotkey. If you want to just mash the hotkey and fire it off, that'll work fine. And our confirm button works fine too. You don't have to target anyone in specific. You just fire it all of them. Okay, green check out of here. Let's go into action targeting. And we've got our visible allies. Just below that, we want our case visible enemies. Break. Pretty much the same thing as visible allies, except kind of in reverse. So with actor, if army doesn't equal other.actor.army, if no collision line, x, y, other.actor.x, other.actor.y, wall, false, false, 2 parens and a squiggly. And in here we want, whoa, that's not right. How did I even do that? I must have hit tab on accident. You know what? Node equals map grid x, grid y, node.action node equals true, node.color equals C_purple. Leave that there for a second. Green check out of here. Go into perform action. Wherever I put it. There it is. Now we got our burning hands. Right below that, we want our case magic missiles. Break. We're going to create a target list again. So, targets equals ds list create. And I need to, let's get this up to the top so we can see what we're doing, huh? Sorry about that. With node, same thing. If action node, then ds list add other.targets id. So we need to go through all of those targets. So for ii equals 0, ii less than ds list size, targets, ii plus equals 1. Come on, there we go. Target equals ds list find value, targets ii dot occupant, because we actually want the occupant for the target. And then we want with instance create. We're just going to create more of our arrows again. So actor.x plus 16, actor.y plus 16, arrow. And if you had your own effect, you could just program your own effect to do something fancy. It'd be pretty much the same as arrow, only different, and you could just do that here. I'm not much of an artist, and that's not really the point of this tutorial. This is to teach the coding. So I'm being lazy, and that's not great. But so target equals other.target, status equals hit, because magic missile can't crit. Damage equals irandom range 1 to 4 plus, come on, 1 to 4 plus 1. Damage type equals force. Path add point. Movement path. Other.actor.x plus 16. Other.actor y plus 16. Because remember, we set these things on a path. 100. And they need both where they start and where they end. So that's where it's going to start, is at the actor's belly, and it's going to go to the target. Path, add point, movement path, other.target.x plus 16, other.target y plus 16, 100. I'm getting really chapped. My mouth is getting dry. Path start, movement path, speed, true, true. Okay. Now we've gone through, we fired an arrow at all of our targets. We need to destroy our list. DS list destroy. Keep ourselves from having a memory leak. Actor.first level slot minus equals 1. Actor.canAct equals false. Actor.actions minus equal 1. Actor.state equals end action. Whoa. End action. And then actor.action timer equals 30 ought to do it. Alright, so now we should be able to run this and fire off a magic missile at every single target we can see. Green check out of here. Let's run it one last time. Okay, so here's Sunny the Gnome Wizard. Which one is which? Magic missile. Let's click that and confirm. Boosh. Alright, fired off at all of them. Great. Green check. So we know Healing Word works, we know Burning Hands works, and we know Magic Missile works. Great. Okay, next video, we're going to add a couple more complicated spells. Spells with added riders. Like one of them is going to do acid damage on that target's next couple of turns. We're going to have a buff that Rizzo can cast to make everybody more accurate. Things like that. If you're enjoying the series so far, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter at Sergeant Indy. Leave a comment below if you run into problems or just want to say hello. Thanks for watching, everyone.